In the cradle of civilization, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers carve through the dust of modern-day Iraq, the ancient Sumerians emerged over 6,000 years ago. History calls them the architects of the first cities, Uruk, Nippur, pioneers of writing, mathematics, and law. But what if everything we've been told is a shadow of a far stranger truth? What if the Sumerians weren't human at all, but refugees from a distant star, stranded on Earth after a catastrophic crash? Their cuneiform tablets, etched with wedge-shaped precision, weren't just records of grain or kings. They were desperate SOS signals to a home planet that never answered. In Gilgamesh, he wasn't a mythic hero. He was their last engineer, racing against time to rebuild a shattered warp drive before their civilization faded into the sands. Let's set the stage. Around 4500 BCE, the Sumerians appear out of nowhere in Mesopotamia, a region previously dotted with simple farming villages. Suddenly, we've got ziggurats, massive stepped pyramids rising toward the sky, irrigation systems that defy the era's technology, and a written language, Cuneiform, that's eerily complex. Scholars say it's the natural evolution of human ingenuity, but the leap is staggering. Their tablets detail star charts, planetary alignments, and mathematical systems like the sexagesimal base 60 we still use for timekeeping that feel too advanced, too precise. The Sumerians claimed their knowledge came from the Anunnaki, gods who descended from the heavens. Mainstream archaeology calls it mythology. But what if the Anunnaki weren't deities? What if they were the Sumerians themselves, survivors of an interstellar exodus? Picture this, a sleek, alien vessel, its hull gleaming with unknown alloys, hurtling through the cosmos. Something goes wrong, maybe a meteor storm, maybe sabotage, and it crash lands in the Fertile Crescent. The survivors, a small crew of otherworldly beings, emerge into a primitive world of hunter-gatherers. They're cut off, their ship in ruins, their technology dwindling. So they adapt. They teach the locals to farm, to build, to write, blending their advanced knowledge with human labor to create a foothold, a signal flare for rescue. Those ziggurats, not temples, but massive antennae, aligned with constellations like Sirius or Orion, beaming messages into the void. The tablets, over 500,000 of them recovered, mention me, mysterious objects of power. Scholars translate it as divine decrees, but what if me were fragments of their tech, tools to repair what was lost? And then there's Gilgamesh, the so-called king of Uruk, immortalized in the oldest epic ever written. The Epic of Gilgamesh describes him as two-thirds divine, a giant of a man obsessed with immortality and quests to the ends of the earth. But strip away the poetic gloss, and what do you see? A figure who doesn't fit. He wrestles monsters, seeks forbidden knowledge, and journeys to a cedar forest guarded by a mechanical beast, whom Baba described as having a face of coiled intestines, a design too bizarre for Bronze Age minds. What if Gilgamesh wasn't a king or a demigod, but the last of the alien crew, an engineer tasked with salvaging their warp drive? The cedar forest could have been the crash site, Humbaba a malfunctioning security drone. His quest for immortality? Not vanity, but a desperate bid to survive long enough to get his people home. The evidence, or the questions, keep piling up. Sumerian art shows humanoid figures in fish-like suits, their heads crowned with stars. Astronomers note their uncanny accuracy mapping planets invisible to the naked eye. Uranus, Neptune, thousands of years before telescopes. Their creation myth speaks of Earth being molded after a cosmic battle, a cleaving of Tiamat, which some fringe researchers tie to a hypothetical planet destroyed in our solar system's past. Coincidence? Maybe. But when their civilization collapses around 2000 BCE, after thriving for millennia, it's abrupt, like a crew finally giving up hope. The tablets stop. The ziggurats crumble. Gilgamesh fails. So here's the theory. The Sumerians weren't the dawn of humanity. They were the last gasp of an alien race, marooned on a backwater planet. Their legacy wasn't progress. It was a plea for rescue that never came. Next time you hear about a clay tablet unearthed in Iraq, or a strange artifact-defying explanation, ask yourself, are we digging up history, or the wreckage of a ship we weren't meant to find? The Sumerians built civilization not to rise, but to survive. And maybe, just maybe, they're still out there watching us, waiting for us to crack the code they left behind.